Hello, Queen. In my channel, we talk about what every woman needs to hear. So let's begin. Let's talk about becoming her. Not the version of you that has it all figured out. Not the woman with the perfect 5 a.m. routine, the color-coded planner, and a life that looks flawless from the outside. I mean the real her, the one built quietly, in the ordinary hours nobody's watching, through habits so small they barely feel like anything at the time. Because here's the truth, powerful isn't a personality trait some women were just born with. It's not luck, and it's not genetics. It's a pattern. It's the accumulation of what she does on an average Tuesday, repeated for months, for years, until it becomes who she is. Today, we're talking about the daily habits that quietly build her, routines, reading, health, learning, and productivity, and how these ordinary pieces stack into something that eventually looks, from the outside, like power. Let's start with routines, because how you structure your day is really how you structure your life. A routine isn't about rigidity. It's not about waking up at an exact hour or following a rule book that leaves no room for humanity. A routine is simply a container, something that holds your energy, instead of letting your day happen randomly to you. Without structure, most days get swallowed by whatever feels urgent in the moment. Notifications, other people's requests, the loudest thing demanding your attention right now. And by the end of the day, you've responded to everything except the things that actually matter to you. A powerful woman isn't someone who has more hours than everyone else. She's someone who decided, in advance, what deserves her time, instead of figuring it out reactively as the day unfolds. That might mean protecting the first 30 minutes of her morning before she opens her phone. It might mean having a wind-down routine at night that actually lets her rest, instead of scrolling until she collapses from exhaustion. It might mean simply knowing what her non-negotiables are, and defending them, even on the busy days. Routines aren't about perfection. Some days will fall apart, and that's fine. The point isn't to execute flawlessly, it's to have a container solid enough that even a messy day doesn't completely derail you, because you know how to return to it tomorrow. Now let's talk about reading, because what you consistently feed your mind becomes the material your thoughts are built from. Reading isn't about looking intellectual or finishing a certain number of books a year to prove something to anyone. It's about deliberately exposing yourself to ideas, perspectives, and knowledge beyond your own immediate experience, instead of only absorbing whatever an algorithm decides to feed you. Here's something most people don't consider. The average person consumes hours of content a day, but very little of it is chosen intentionally. It's whatever autoplays next, whatever's trending, whatever's designed to capture attention rather than build understanding. A powerful woman is intentional about her inputs because she understands that what goes into her mind eventually comes out in her decisions, her conversations, her confidence in a room. You don't need to read 50 books a year. You need to read consistently, even if it's 10 pages before bed instead of endless scrolling. You need to occasionally read something that challenges you, not just something that entertains you. Reading builds vocabulary, yes, but more importantly, it builds the ability to sit with complex ideas, to think in longer, more patient sentences than the ones social media trained us to think in. And reading isn't limited to books. It's staying informed, learning about the world beyond your own bubble, exposing yourself to viewpoints different from your own so your opinions are actually formed rather than simply inherited. Let's talk about health, because none of the rest of this matters if the body carrying you through it isn't cared for. Health isn't about achieving a certain appearance. It's not about punishing your body into a shape that was never really the goal in the first place. Health is about function, energy, and longevity. It's about being able to show up fully for the life you're building, instead of running on empty and calling it discipline. This means moving your body regularly, not as punishment for what you ate, but because movement is one of the most reliable tools we have for mental clarity and emotional regulation. It means eating in a way that fuels you, rather than restricting in a way that depletes you. It means sleep, actual sufficient sleep, not 5 hours followed by 3 coffees and calling it a productive morning. A powerful woman understands that her body is the one asset she cannot replace. She can rebuild her finances, restart her career, repair a relationship, but she only gets one body, and how she treats it daily determines how much life she actually gets to live inside of it. Health also means mental health, checking in with yourself honestly, processing what needs to be processed instead of burying it under busyness, and knowing when to ask for support instead of insisting you can carry everything alone. Now let's talk about learning, because staying curious is what keeps you evolving instead of stagnating. Learning doesn't stop when school does. In fact, some of the most important learning happens after, when nobody's grading you, when you're choosing what to learn because you're curious, not because it's required. A powerful woman treats herself like a student for life. She asks questions instead of pretending to already know the answer. She's willing to be a beginner at something new, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means being bad at something for a while before she gets good at it. She understands that ego is the enemy of growth, because you can't learn something you're too proud to admit you don't already know. This might mean learning a new skill relevant to your career. It might mean learning something completely unrelated, just because it interests you. It might mean learning more about yourself, your patterns, your triggers, the things you keep repeating without understanding why. Self-awareness is a form of learning too, maybe the most important form. The moment you decide you already know everything you need to know, you stop growing. Powerful women stay teachable, no matter how much they've already accomplished. Which brings us to productivity, though not the exhausting hustle culture version most of us were sold. Real productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters and letting go of the rest without guilt. It's the difference between being busy and being effective, and those two things are not the same, even though we often confuse them. A powerful woman doesn't measure her worth by how exhausted she is at the end of the day. She understands that rest isn't the opposite of productivity, it's actually part of it, because burnout doesn't make you more capable, it just makes you slower at everything, including the things that matter. Productivity looks like knowing your priorities clearly enough that you can say no to things that don't align with them, without over-explaining yourself. It looks like focused work in shorter, more intentional blocks, instead of a scattered day full of half attention given to everything. It looks like finishing things, instead of starting 15 projects and completing none of them.
And productivity also means being honest about your energy, not just your time. Some hours you're sharp, and that's when the hard things should happen. Some hours you're tired, and that's when the easy administrative things belong. Working against your own energy all day is one of the most common reasons people feel busy but accomplish very little. So let's bring this all together, because these 5 pieces don't work in isolation. They build on each other, the same way mindset, habits, and self-respect did in the confidence episode, and the same way mindset, skills, and independence did in the money episode. Routines give your day structure, so it doesn't happen to you by accident. Reading feeds your mind deliberately, instead of letting an algorithm decide what you think about. Health keeps the body that carries all of this functioning, instead of running on empty. Learning keeps you evolving, instead of standing still while the world moves forward. And productivity makes sure your energy goes toward what actually matters, instead of everything demanding your attention. This is the version of powerful that doesn't trend. It's not glamorous, it doesn't perform well on camera, and most days nobody will notice you doing any of it. Nobody claps when you read 10 pages before bed instead of scrolling. Nobody sees the workout you did when you didn't feel like it, or the boundary you held around your own time, or the book you finished slowly, over weeks, 1 page at a time. But that's exactly why it works. It's not built to impress anyone watching. It's built for the version of you that only you will ever fully witness, the one becoming steadier, sharper, and stronger, day by ordinary day. So if you're looking for permission to start, this is it. You don't need to overhaul your entire life this week. You don't need the perfect routine, the reading list, the flawless health plan, all at once. You need to choose one habit and repeat it until it becomes who you are instead of something you're trying to do. Pick one thing today: 10 pages, a walk, going to bed on time, 1 honest hour of focused work. That's it. That's the whole process. Not a single transformation, but a long collection of ordinary days, repeated until they quietly become extraordinary. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Which habit are you working on first? Your routines, your reading, your health, your learning, or your productivity? I'd love to know where you're starting. Subscribe if you're ready to